This appendix video will aim to show how in AOTR you can buff out heroes with other heroes. This feature is not something to be found at all in the vanilla game, but plays a great part in AOTR. To do this, we'll look first at just the Gondor faction, given we've utilized them so much in the series, but the faction also has some of the greatest number of these sorts of hero-to-hero buffs of all factions. To settle in, though, let's first look at our protagonist in this little video, Pippin himself. He has a surprisingly powerful ability, Blade of Westernesse. Quite a nice little nod to the books, being the weapon he held through much of the story, and a feature sadly not included in the vanilla game. We'll have him up against a Black Rider in a one-on-one matchup, so let's just see how he manages.
We are warriors of the Shire! Be gone! They have attacked! I need help! Little help here! Pippin has fallen!
Poor little Pip went down fighting. With his Blade of Westernesse, he surprisingly took the Black Rider down almost to half health, but the fight was about what you would expect of the brave little hobbit against one of the 9. Now let's look at the Gondor heroes who will be buffing him out. We will be using 4 heroes, Denethor, Forlong, Elisar, and Baragond. Imrahil is just there to watch. Here are the abilities to be used. Denethor's Contest of Wills, Forlong's True Heart, True Friend, and Elisar's Hands of the King. Baragond's Sacrifice is a hero buff of sorts, but not in the same sense as the others, so will not be used in this fight, but it's a great example of what the system is capable of in AOTR. Notice how it causes the Black Rider to flee and then to sit still, stunned. It gives my hero the option to flee, or keep fighting if the fight was a close call to victory or defeat. So without further ado, let's see our heroes lend their aid to our brave Hobbit hero. As always in this series, they will be programmed to stay back so as to preserve the integrity of the battle, so you can clearly see how impactful the hero buffs are.
Your left hand you would use as a shield against Mordor, and with your right you would use to strike me.
We can give Frodo this chance if we keep Sauron's eye fixed upon us.
I'm over here! They have attacked!
A strong victory for our little Hobbit hero. It's a good way to show what the Gondor faction is capable of on its own for buffing out heroes. Certainly one of the strongest factions for this kind of support, but as great as this victory is, we can always shoot higher, so let's see how he does against the Witch King. But we'll use another one of Pippin's abilities, Trollbane. While the massive damage boost won't work on the enemy, the knockback resistance will be important, as you will see.
You think I can't fight? Our forces are under attack!
This matchup went about as you would expect. Poor little fella. But what about heroes buffing him out? We're going to need to bring in some allies for this fight. We'll use the staunch dwarves. For them, we'll use both the Reign of Oakenshield heroes and Reign of Ironfoot ones. We'll use only the heroes whose abilities affect hero stats, of course. So we'll actually have 2 ally players, but I'll be in control of their heroes so as to showcase all their abilities and the timing required to pull off something like this in proper teamwork between 3 players. For the Reign of Oakenshield player, we'll use Bard's Black Arrow. While it does do some damage to the enemy, it is very minor. I even kept him at level 1 to keep the damage as low as possible. The damage won't make enough of an impact to interfere with the integrity of the matchup, though. We'll also use Balin's Counselor of Kings. For the Reign of Ironfoot player, we'll use Thorin III's Stonehelm ability, and King Dane's Mighty Veteran. While it isn't a hero buff, it will be used to make a powerful point about how powerful that ability is with proper teamwork. A heroic unit included for both Reign of Ironfoot and Reign of Oakenshield is the Khazad Uzbadul unit. This is a great example of how even heroic units can buff out heroes in AOTR. We'll be using the unit's passive ability, Staunch Defenders. You'll see a little purplish shield icon floating around Pippin, and all nearby heroes for that matter. I could have used King Dane's King's Messenger ability, but it would have been unnecessary for the battle, to say nothing of how it doesn't actually perform as a modifier. Bard's son Brand also has a Black Arrow ability like his father, but I didn't need to use it during the battle, keeping him around just to show the ability, but its armor debuff would have stacked with Bard's. So without further delay, let's see all this in action.
Faithless is he who says farewell when the road
Tell me
burns.
again why I
Back some little
Can I have some big? One more for me to dispatch.
What news to Blue Mountains?
We lost that. Come on, we're not done yet. I have some big. You shall be surprised.
glory for the king under the mountain.
A substantial victory for the Fool of a Took. Taking on the Witch King takes some heavy support for the little guy. Now imagine what you can do with even tougher heroes in actual battles with enemy heroes. One thing to note before the end of this video is King Dane's healing ability, Mighty Veteran. He is a powerful hero in that any heroes nearby would be healed and have their abilities fully recharged. Remember that, and you can go a long ways to victory. If I had placed all my heroes in such a way that his ability affected them all, Pippin could very well have taken on a second Witch King. Even more so given that I didn't end up using Gondor's healing spellbook power. And if you noticed at the end, that ability of Dane's allowed Pippin's Trollbane anti-knockback resistance to refresh. Without that, Pippin would have lost this fight. As I said previously, Gondor is just one of the leading factions in terms of how many hero buffs it has, but most factions have one or two at least, and the newest faction, Haradwaith, offers one unique in the whole game in which its top fortress ability will permanently buff out most of its heroes. It doesn't work on team players' heroes, but regardless, team players can further buff out the faction's permanently buffed heroes from that fortress power. A neat little feature to be sure. Now compare this versatility and variety to what's offered in the vanilla game. No hero can be buffed at all in the vanilla game. not by units, heroic units, heroes, or even leaderships, buffs, spells, or debuffs. AOTR offers so much in terms of the modifier or leadership system versus the scant offerings of the vanilla game, especially with teamwork. It really is night and day. A great way to show the story of the characters and their struggle during the War of the Ring.